From the neon glow of Nashville to the cargo jets roaring out of Memphis, Tennessee pulses with energy. More than 7 million people call it home. Together, they produce a state economy worth over $500 billion each year. That output is larger than the entire economy of Denmark. World-famous companies have anchored themselves here. FedEx directs 500,000 workers worldwide from its headquarters in Memphis. The company turns the city's airport into the busiest cargo hub in the world. Nissan builds hundreds of thousands of cars annually in its giant Smyrna plant. It is one of the largest vehicle assembly facilities in North America. Jack Daniel's, distilled in Lynchburg, has become a symbol of American whiskey across the globe. Yet the volunteer state also faces challenges. Tornadoes carve paths of destruction with deadly regularity. They leave towns vulnerable and families displaced. Rapid growth in cities like Nashville fuels a housing crisis. Rising rents and gentrification drive longtime residents from their neighborhoods. The state wrestles with questions of how to balance prosperity with safety, tradition with change. Will Tennessee's story continue as one of cultural triumph and economic strength, or will its struggles overshadow its promise? In this video, we will explore Tennessee through its landmarks, events, successes, and struggles. But before we start, here's a little question to entertain you. Which Tennessee private home is the second most visited after the White House? A. Hearst Castle. B. Elvis Presley's Graceland. C. Monticello. D. Mount Vernon. Share your opinion in the comments and patiently watch this video till the end to find out the truth. Number 10. Memphis AI Clash. At the edge of Memphis, smokestacks and power lines cut across the horizon. Now, beside them, a vast new complex glows with turbines and servers built by Elon Musk's company, xAI. This fortress of machines is designed to fuel the rise of artificial intelligence, a field hungry for endless computing power. To some, it is a promise of progress. To others, it is a new source of smoke and anxiety. In South Memphis, the march of technology collides with the struggle for health and survival. Across the world, artificial intelligence is driving a quiet construction boom. Vast data centers are rising in cities and towns. Each is filled with rows of servers that demand staggering amounts of electricity and water. These facilities have become the backbone of AI research, powering everything from chatbots to driverless cars. Yet their scale has sparked growing concern. Communities struggle to balance the lure of high-tech investment with the hidden costs of energy and pollution. To fuel its early operations, xAI installed dozens of methane-fired turbines on the site. Reports indicated as many as 35 turbines were delivered. Permits, however, allowed far fewer. Even scaled back, the approved units can generate more than 400 megawatts of power. That is enough to rival a medium-sized power plant. For residents nearby, the sudden hum of new machinery brought both unease and anger. The surrounding neighborhoods are no strangers to industry. South Memphis has carried the weight of chemical plants, refineries, and warehouses for decades. Many residents belong to communities already exposed to heavy pollution. Asthma rates are high, and health risks are long documented. The idea that another source of emissions could add to their burden raised alarm. Environmental groups warned that nitrogen oxides and fine particles worsen disease and smog. The concern quickly became a rallying point for local activists. The NAACP and the Southern Environmental Law Center joined the fight. They pressed regulators to hold xAI accountable for every turbine. Activists argued that the project had been rushed without full air quality studies. Memphis already struggles with ozone levels and respiratory illness above national averages. For critics, the new facility was not just about technology, it was also about fairness and environmental justice. The scale of these ambitions highlights a larger tension. Artificial intelligence promises economic growth and high-profile investment for Tennessee. Yet the demands of massive data centers raise questions about water, air, and grid resilience. For residents in South Memphis, those questions are not abstract. They are tied to the air they breathe and the health of their families. Are you from Tennessee? Do you welcome a massive AI data center in your state? Share your thoughts in the comments. Before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And now, let's dive in. Number 9. Nissan Nation. Tennessee, once rooted in farms and small mills, now tells a different story of industry and ambition. In the town of Smyrna, the floor of a giant factory hums like a city of machines. Sparks flash as robotic arms bend steel into shape, while finished cars glide forward in a river of glass and metal. This is the largest auto plant in North America and one of the most productive on Earth. Each year, more than 600,000 vehicles roll past its gates, a scale almost beyond imagination. For the state, it has become a lasting symbol of modern power and global reach. Nissan's story in the state began 4 decades ago. In 1983, the company opened its first U.S. assembly line in Smyrna. Leaders chose a site with access to highways, rail, and a strong labor pool. At that time, Tennessee was best known for farming and small-scale manufacturing. The arrival of a global carmaker signaled a new chapter. It placed the state in the heart of America's auto belt. It also set the stage for a wave of foreign investment. The move grew even larger when Nissan shifted its U.S. headquarters to Franklin in 2006. Franklin, a suburb just south of Nashville, became home to executives, engineers, and designers. Their presence cemented Tennessee's place as the brand's American base. From there, the company expanded its reach. The Smyrna plant became the backbone of its U.S. production. Inside the factory, thousands of workers assemble models that define American roads. The Altima sedan rolls off the line daily. The Rogue crossover and the Pathfinder SUV are also stamped, welded, and painted in Smyrna. Beyond traditional cars, the facility has embraced new technology. In 2013, it became the first U.S. plant to mass-produce an all-electric car. That car was the Nissan Leaf. This milestone placed Tennessee at the center of the electric vehicle movement. It did so years before most rivals. The economic impact of Nissan's presence cannot be overstated. Tens of thousands of jobs depend on the supply chains that feed the Smyrna plant. Parts manufacturers and logistics firms cluster around the factory. Service industries thrive in its orbit. Billions of dollars flow into Tennessee's economy each year from Nissan's operations. Alongside Volkswagen in Chattanooga, the state has gained new weight. With General Motors in Spring Hill, Tennessee now anchors one of the strongest auto corridors in the country. But behind the success, there are questions about the future. Automation has steadily reduced the need for human labor. Robots handle much of the repetitive assembly once done by hand. This raises concerns about job security in a region tied to manufacturing wages. Labor groups have pushed for unionization in Smyrna for years. The struggle reflects a broader challenge facing workers in southern auto plants. Have you ever owned a Nissan? Which brand of car has been the most reliable for you over the years? Let us know in the comments. Our team needs your help. Subscribe to our channel to help more people learn the truth about current events. And now, we move on. Number 8. Dolly Parton. Crowds rush into Dollywood each season, filling the Smoky Mountains with noise and excitement. Dollywood stands as one of America's most beloved theme parks. Millions of visitors stream through its gates each year. They are drawn by rides, music, and the sense of Appalachian charm that surrounds it. Yet the park is only one part of Dolly Parton's remarkable story. Behind the roller coasters and country tunes is a woman whose life has become a symbol of resilience and generosity. Her legacy is also tied to cultural pride that continues to define Tennessee. Dolly grew up in Sevier County, Tennessee, in a cabin without running water or electricity. Her early life in the mountains shaped both her music and her values. By the 1960s, her voice began reaching national audiences. Soon, she became a household name in country music. Songs like Jolene captured stories of working women and small-town struggles. Her unforgettable stage presence turned her into a global star. Decades later, she remains one of the most recognizable entertainers in the world. But Dolly's influence cannot be measured only by her music. In 1986, she opened Dollywood, transforming a corner of eastern Tennessee into a hub of entertainment. The park became a place for culture and jobs. It has since grown into the state's most visited tourist attraction. Today, it employs thousands and contributes hundreds of millions to the regional economy. For many families, Dollywood is more than an amusement park. It is a place where music, food, and Appalachian heritage are celebrated side by side. Beyond the stage and the park, Dolly Parton has built a legacy of philanthropy. Her Imagination Library, launched in 1995, has mailed more than 200 million free books. Children in the United States and abroad have benefited from this program. Hospitals, schools, and communities struck by disaster have also felt her generosity. In 2020, she made headlines with a $1 million donation. That gift helped fund the research that developed one of the first COVID-19 vaccines. For many, Dolly represents the rare celebrity who consistently turns her fame into tangible good. Even in her late 70s, Dolly continues to perform and record. She has released new music, appeared in film projects, and continued to invest in Dollywood. Her charitable work only grows wider, reinforcing her role as one of the most trusted public figures. In Tennessee, she is not just an icon of music, but also a force for community development and pride. Dolly Parton remains more than a celebrity. She is a living example of how one person's story can shape the image of an entire state. What's your favorite Dolly Parton song? We'd love to hear your views in the comments. Now please take a moment to hit that like button. It's a small action, but it helps YouTube's algorithm promote our videos to a wider audience. Number 7. Tornado Alley. Families across Tennessee know the fear of being woken by sirens after midnight. Tornadoes here strike when people are least prepared, often while they sleep. That single fact has given the state some of the highest tornado death rates in the nation. Unlike the flat plains, where storms can be tracked more easily, Tennessee's valleys and ridges conceal their arrival. Tornadoes here often strike at night, catching families while they sleep. Tennessee's tornado history is marked by disasters that still echo in memory. In 1974, the super outbreak swept across the Ohio Valley and tore through Tennessee. Dozens of people lost their lives, and entire communities were flattened. More recently, the 2011 storms in East Tennessee left a trail of destruction with more than 30 lives lost. These events, alongside the Nashville outbreak of 2020, are a constant reminder to residents. A reminder that the state's geography and climate make it especially vulnerable to deadly storms. The geography of Tennessee makes storms especially dangerous. Hills and forests can block radar coverage, leaving gaps in warning systems. Many older homes in rural areas lack basements, offering little shelter when the winds rise. While the state averages around 30 tornadoes each year, the fatality rate remains among the highest in the country. This contrast has puzzled experts for years and continues to raise concern among emergency planners. The storm in March 2020 brought this danger into sharp focus. That night, a violent outbreak struck Nashville and the surrounding communities. One tornado tracked for over 50 miles with winds exceeding 165 miles per hour. It destroyed homes, schools, and businesses in its path. More than 25 people lost their lives and hundreds were injured. Entire neighborhoods woke up to splintered houses and scattered debris fields where streets had once been. The economic cost was staggering. Billions of dollars in damages rippled through Middle Tennessee, with many residents still rebuilding years later. For survivors, the storm became a dividing line between life before and life after. What made it especially lethal was the timing. The The tornado struck after midnight, when most residents were unprepared. This single factor explains much of the state's high death tolls compared to daytime storms. Tennessee's place in the nation's tornado history is often misunderstood. It does not see the highest number of tornadoes, yet its losses are severe. The Southeast has become known as part of Dixie Alley, a region where tornadoes kill more people than anywhere else in America. Scientists warn that climate change may intensify severe weather in this corridor. Warmer air and shifting jet streams could mean even more destructive storms in the decades ahead. Have you ever lived through a tornado or a major storm? Share your memories in the comments. Share this video on X and Facebook to help us grow. Every share counts. Number 6. FedEx. At night, Memphis International Airport glows with activity. Cargo planes stretch across the runways, loading packages under bright floodlights. It is the busiest cargo airport in the world, and the reason is FedEx. From its massive hub in Memphis, the company connects Tennessee to every corner of the globe. What happens here each night ripples across continents by morning. FedEx began with the vision of Fred Smith, who founded the company in 1971. Its headquarters first opened in Little Rock, Arkansas, but by 1973 the company had moved to Memphis. The city's central location and relatively mild weather made it the perfect site for a global hub. Smith's idea of a hub-and-spoke network revolutionized shipping. This allowed overnight delivery to become not just possible, but routine. From that point on, Memphis would never be the same. Today, FedEx operates in more than 220 countries and territories. Its network employs over 500,000 people across the world, making it one of the largest private employers in the United States. At its Memphis hub alone, tens of thousands of jobs depend on the constant flow of planes and packages. Every day, FedEx Express handles millions of parcels, and hundreds of flights move in and out of the airport on a tight schedule. The scale of the operation is almost unimaginable. Each year, Memphis International processes millions of tons of cargo, more than any other airport on Earth. Planes land and depart in waves through the night, timed to deliver packages on doorsteps by sunrise. This rhythm has turned Memphis into a city that never truly sleeps. For Tennessee, FedEx is both an economic powerhouse and a source of global recognition. The company's impact on Memphis extends far beyond the airport gates. FedEx contributes billions of dollars to the Tennessee economy through wages, taxes, and business partnerships. Restaurants, shops, and entire neighborhoods have grown alongside the hub, supported by the workers who make it function. Yet contrasts remain sharp. While FedEx thrives as a global leader, Memphis still struggles with poverty, leaving many to question whether the city benefits equally from its most famous resident. FedEx has also been forced to adapt to new challenges. The rise of Amazon and UPS has transformed competition in the shipping industry. To keep pace, FedEx has invested heavily in automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence. It is also expanding its fleet of electric delivery trucks as part of a larger sustainability effort. These moves show how FedEx is preparing for a world that demands faster delivery and greater environmental responsibility. Have you ever relied on FedEx to deliver something important? What is your preferred delivery service today? Add your views in the comments. Number 5. Jack Daniels. In Lynchburg, Tennessee, the streets are quiet and the courthouse square is small. The population hovers under 7,000. Yet this tiny town produces one of the most famous whiskeys on earth. Jack Daniels has become a global symbol, recognized instantly by its square bottle and black label. From bars in New York to clubs in Tokyo, the brand carries the name of a distant town. Few people will ever visit it, but many will imagine it. The story began in the mid-19th century, when Jasper Newton Jack Daniel learned the craft of distilling. In 1866, he officially registered his distillery, making it the oldest licensed distillery in the United States. What set his whiskey apart was a detail of geology and method. Daniel used pure iron-free water flowing from a cave spring in Lynchburg, which still supplies the distillery today. He also perfected the charcoal mellowing technique known as the Lincoln County process. Each drop of whiskey passed slowly through sugar maple charcoal, giving the drink its smooth, distinct character. Over time, Jack Daniel's whiskey grew from a local spirit to an American export. By the 20th century, it was being poured in Europe and Asia, marketed as both rugged and refined. Today, the brand is sold in more than 170 countries and produces millions of cases every year. For Tennessee, it is both an economic powerhouse and a cultural ambassador. Lynchburg's distillery welcomes hundreds of thousands of visitors annually. Many arrive curious to see where the world's best-selling Tennessee whiskey is made. The irony is that Lynchburg itself is in a dry county. That means local residents cannot legally purchase a bottle of the very drink that sustains their economy. Visitors on tours can sample the history and smell the barrel houses, but the whiskey itself cannot be sold by the glass. This contradiction has become part of the mystique of Jack Daniel's. Culturally, Jack Daniel's has taken on a life beyond the distillery. Its label has appeared in films, on concert stages, and in the hands of rock legends. For decades, it has been linked to music, especially rock, blues, and country. The bottle has become as much a prop of rebellion as a drink, a symbol of Tennessee carried into the wider world. To many, Jack Daniel's is as American as denim or the electric guitar, yet the brand is not without controversy. In recent years, neighbors around barrel houses have filed lawsuits about a dark mold known as whiskey fungus. This sooty layer, fueled by ethanol vapors, clings to trees, homes, and cars near storage facilities. Global tariffs on American whiskey have also threatened sales abroad. They show that even icons are vulnerable to trade disputes. Are you a fan of whiskey? Have you ever shared a glass of Jack Daniel's? Share your story in the comments. Number 4. Country Music Heritage. Every night in Nashville, the glow of neon lights mixes with echoes of history. Broadway stages buzz with young stars chasing dreams. The Grand Ole Opry still reminds the world where country music began. Here, tradition and ambition play the same tune. In 1925, the Grand Ole Opry first aired on WSM radio, bringing local performers into living rooms across the South. For rural families, this new sound over the airwaves was more than music, it was community. Soon, the Ryman Auditorium, once a tabernacle for religious revivals, became the home of the Opry. Its wooden pews and unmatched acoustics earned it the name Mother Church of Country Music. Legends like Hank Williams gave voice to ordinary struggles. This turned Nashville into a place where stories of heartbreak and hope were broadcast to the world. These early years forged a connection between Tennessee's rural life and its music. Songs told stories of struggle, heartbreak, and resilience, and they gave working-class communities a voice. Over time, country music grew from small stages to arenas filled with millions of fans across the globe. Yet Nashville never lost its central place in that journey. Today, the Grand Ole Opry still hosts weekly shows, drawing tourists from every corner of the world. The Country Music Hall of Fame preserves rare instruments, stage costumes, and recordings that trace the evolution of the genre. Visitors walk through exhibits that honor both the pioneers and the new generation of artists. The Ryman, once nearly forgotten, now thrives as a living landmark. The economic impact of this heritage is enormous. Nashville's music industry contributes billions each year to Tennessee's economy. Studios, live venues, and festivals employ tens of thousands, making music not only a cultural force, but also an economic one. CMA Fest alone brings hundreds of thousands of fans into the city, creating a pilgrimage for country music lovers. Globally, the influence of Tennessee country music remains unmatched. Artists shaped in Nashville have topped charts in Europe, Asia, and Latin America. The blend of fiddles, guitars, and lyrics rooted in simple truths resonates far beyond the American South. Dolly Parton, raised in rural Tennessee, transformed her country roots into a career that spanned continents. Her songs, from heartfelt ballads to lively anthems, carried Tennessee's voice to the global stage. She also used her platform for philanthropy, proving that Nashville's influence is not only cultural but deeply human. For Tennessee, country music is more than entertainment. It is a story of how local traditions became global voices, and how a city built on radio waves became a cultural capital. Have you ever attended a country music concert? Add your favorite memory in the comments. Number 3. Nashville Housing Crisis. For visitors, Nashville looks like a dream. Music pours from Broadway's neon-lit bars, and luxury towers climb into the sky. Newcomers fill streets that seem alive with energy. But for many longtime residents, the dream has become a struggle to hold on to the city they once called home. Only a generation ago, Nashville was known as one of the South's affordable cities. Families could buy modest homes close to downtown, and communities felt steady and rooted. The city's rise as a hub for music, healthcare, and tech brought jobs and investment, but it also set off an explosion in housing demand that reshaped entire neighborhoods. The numbers show how fast it happened. Home prices in Nashville have soared more than 130% in the last 10 years. By 2024, the median home price had pushed to $500,000, a figure that would have stunned earlier generations. Rents have followed close behind, averaging above $1,800 a month. Teachers, nurses, and restaurant workers are stretched to the breaking point. For East Nashville and North Nashville, the effects have been especially visible. Streets that once held corner stores and porches now glow with cocktail bars, condos, and boutique hotels. In North Nashville, historically black neighborhoods have seen property values climb so high. Families who lived there for generations are now being forced to leave. Community ties built over decades are unraveling. Tourism has added even more pressure. Short-term rentals, from whole houses converted into Airbnbs to apartments leased for nightly stays, have taken thousands of homes from the market. With each property removed, the supply for locals continues to shrink and rents rise higher. For investors, it's an opportunity. For residents, it's a loss. The city has tried to respond, launching affordable housing programs and encouraging new development. Yet the construction often favors luxury high-rises, while affordable options lag far behind demand. Nashville's skyline tells one story of success. The neighborhoods below it reveal another. Wealth and poverty now stand side by side, separated by rising walls of cost. The cultural toll is just as deep as the financial one. Nashville's identity was built on local voices. Songwriters filled dimly lit clubs, and families shaped the city's rhythm with their stories. Today, some of those voices are fading as artists and workers leave for cheaper towns. Empty stools and shuttered storefronts remind residents that prosperity has its price. Nashville's growth has given it global fame and economic strength, but it has also forced the painful question of who gets to stay and who must go. Are you a resident of Nashville? What's the biggest change you've seen in your hometown over the years? Let us know in the comments. Number 2. Tennessee State Fair. Each autumn, Tennessee comes alive with the sounds and colors of the state fair. Carnival rides spin under bright lights, while the scent of fried foods drifts across the grounds. Families gather, children laugh, and farmers bring their best livestock and produce to show. It is a living tradition that has survived more than a century and a half. The Tennessee State Fair began in 1855, making it one of the oldest fairs in the South. It was born in an era when farming was the backbone of life. The fair became a showcase for agricultural skills and rural pride. Through wars, depressions, and relocations, it has endured, adapting while still preserving its original purpose. For many, it became an annual ritual passed from one generation to the next. In its earliest days, the fairgrounds were filled with livestock competitions, crop displays, and contests that celebrated hard work on the land. These traditions remain. 4-H groups and farming families still gather each year to compete and to honor Tennessee's agricultural roots. In doing so, the fair links modern visitors to a history that stretches back to the state's frontier beginnings. The fair is not only about crops and cattle, it is a celebration of culture. Food stalls serve cornbread, smoked meats, and the deep-fried creations that are now a southern staple. Visitors ride towering Ferris wheels and spinning coasters, while others crowd into arenas for live concerts. Each year, new attractions join old favorites, ensuring the event feels both timeless and current. Attendance remains strong, with hundreds of thousands walking through the gates annually. For families in cities and small towns alike, the fair is one of the few events where the whole state seems to gather. Rural and urban meet here, sharing traditions that otherwise might never cross paths. The fairgrounds become a temporary community filled with energy, pride, and spectacle. Recent years have brought change. In 2021, the fair was relocated to Wilson County, a move that surprised some but reflected the growth of Nashville and the need for more space. The relocation showed how the fair could adapt to new realities while still honoring its past. Even in a different setting, the heartbeat of the fair remains familiar to those who have attended for decades. Economically, the fair is a driver as well as a tradition. It supports local farmers, food vendors, and entertainers, while also boosting nearby hotels and businesses. The revenue and attention it brings each year extend well beyond the gates. At the same time, it offers a stage for small producers who might never otherwise see their work appreciated by such large crowds. Have you ever visited a state fair? We'd love to hear your story in the comments. Now it's time to find out the correct answer to the quiz. Which Tennessee private home is the second most visited after the White House? A. Hearst Castle. B. Elvis Presley's Graceland. C. Monticello. D. Mount Vernon. The correct answer is B. Elvis Presley's Graceland. Number 1. Elvis Presley. Every day in Memphis, fans still gather outside Graceland's iron gates. Some leave flowers, others take photos by the walls covered in Elvis's name. Inside, his pink Cadillac and sparkling jumpsuits feel frozen in time, as if waiting for his return. It is more than a house. It is the second most visited home in America, surpassed only by the White House. Over 600,000 people a year travel here to walk through his rooms and see the life of the king up close. Yet people come not only to see a house, but to feel closer to the man who changed global music. Elvis Presley was born in Tupelo, Mississippi in 1935, but Memphis became his home. Here, at Sun Studio, he recorded songs that blended country, gospel, and rhythm and blues. The mix gave birth to rock and roll and marked him as a revolutionary new voice in American music. By the mid-1950s, his energetic performances and hip-shaking style shocked television audiences, but they also won him millions of fans and turned him into a cultural lightning rod. His rise was rapid and extraordinary. Elvis went on to record more than 700 songs, many of them chart-topping hits. He became the first solo performer to reach audiences worldwide through television. Elvis sold more than 500 million records worldwide, making him one of the best-selling artists in history. He also crossed into Hollywood, starring in 31 films that turned him into a household name. After he died in 1977, Graceland became more than a private mansion. In 1982, it opened to the public and was soon listed as a National Historic Landmark. Each August, Elvis Week draws tens of thousands to the candlelight vigil at his grave. This creates scenes more like a pilgrimage than a tourist stop. Visitors walk through rooms left much as they were in his final days. From the gold records on the walls to his racquetball court and meditation garden. Today, Graceland generates over $150 million in annual tourism impact. This anchors an entire entertainment district that keeps Memphis tied to the legacy of the king. The Elvis brand remains alive in remarkable ways. He has sold more than 1 billion records worldwide, a figure unmatched by most artists. Merchandise, films, and tribute shows keep his image in the public eye. Digital hologram tours and documentaries ensure younger generations discover his story. The 2022 Baz Luhrmann film, Elvis, reignited global fascination with his life and music. The King of Rock and Roll remains a symbol of Tennessee's global reach. Every year his story continues to inspire younger generations who discover him anew. For millions, Elvis is not just a memory, but a continuing presence in music and culture. Do you remember the first Elvis song you heard? Share your memories in the comments. Thank you for exploring the hidden corners of Tennessee with us. Click on the video you see on the screen to check out other hidden discoveries on our channel.